traditional belief and the backdrop we're coming from. From time immemorial, women were made to believe that they could just follow. But now things are changed. Women are all out. Women are hardworking. Women are, networking. Women are forming caucuses in Nigeria already. And I know definitely we are going to see something different. By and large, if you look at the past elections, it's also not necessary because women just go for political parties that have the name or the money. Might be part of the issue, but the support base is also another. Election in Nigeria is about financing, huge finance. Then the men who are also, their counterparts or their, colleagues in the field happen to belong to the old class boys, old clubs boys. And they have this support base generally and they fit in. But you see, women, he just made a fundamental statement. The nucleus of the home, embodied with multitasking, keeping, the family together. But at the same time, going into their offices, doing the right thing at the political field. He spoke about majority, women voting. But we are talking of women taking the center stage or being part of decision-making, taking an implementation. But how do you get there? Men have come a long way. They have been in the field, they have been in the system, but women now are challenging because we've seen these cases where caucuses helped, like the case of Rwanda. Today it's called about 64%, of legislative, population of women. If you look at the situation,
well, I'm wondering, Hajia Ramatu, just before you bring in the comparative numbers from Rwanda. Earlier you said, okay, the women are coming. As
of course,
they live in
absolutely,
they live in the backwaters and get into the front stage. But take a look, for instance, at what happened in 2011 and then 2015. At the end of the elections in 2011, you had more women in the National Assembly than you had and still have after the 2015 election. So if we were to just use that, for instance, as a measure, there would seem to have been even a drastic decline of women in appointive offices. So in elective offices. Elective offices, say to the National Assembly. What went wrong?
Fundamentally, if you look at it, it takes us back to the culture. The support base from the women isn't there. From the men is not there. The belief that the woman can make it is also not there. And that is why seriously we find the NDI, we find the Women Democratic Network trying to build the caucuses, build their morale, get them to believe in themselves that they could make it. And then you get also the political parties and the government to know that women can be out there and compete comparatively with the men in the political space.
What makes it difficult for the woman to believe in herself or even to get the kind of support? Even Dr. Tanko mentioned the issue of even the apathy we have for ourselves, or for the women have for ourselves. The first thing will be, okay, why is she the one and why not me? So what is it that makes the woman not to believe in herself? If you could do it on the home front, like we've used as an example, the extra push to go out there on the political scene, what is stalling that? The
courage, the support from homes. Most men just tend to, even we find it in legislative, in our National Assembly today, for instance, because the women are few within there. Their voices do not even make the difference. Sometimes their presentations are even undermined. But nevertheless, the courage the younger ones are supposed to get from what they see at the top is in there. Mentorship is coming to play here and is needed. But he made a statement of women fundamentally not being together, not supporting themselves. Women found it easier in the then days to, it's not easy, it's not okay to say they just go with the money. We find where women, especially for those of us who came from, the opposition parties, contributing monies to move, themselves from one place to the other, mobilizing people to the polling units, galvanizing support for a particular candidate. But then they believe in themselves as being the missing link. But now I think...
All right, Hajia Ramatu, thank you very much. Let's bring in again Georgina Dakpopo. Young Democratic Party, I mean, as the name implies, this is a new effort, it's a new attempt. You're not piggybacking on the old established political parties.
Yeah.
What has been the experience in terms of seeking to galvanize women, and what is it that you have done? Have you attempted, for instance, to test the waters in local elections?
Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, I ran on the platform of YDP as a deputy governor aspirant in the past Edo State election. So yes, we are doing that.
How many votes did you score?
Quite minimal, comparable. I think we're over 200 votes actually.
Over
200 votes.
Okay.
It was quite minimal, but at the party internally, we're encouraging women to run for offices, both at the executive level and even for positions. But just like she said, it's I like to address some of the questions that we've addressed to her, talking about why there was a decline in the past representation of women in the National Assembly. I think it has to do with internal party politics. And I'd like to agree with Alhaji Tanko here that a lot of times women before now rather go to a party where they think they have more chances of being sponsored, of being getting the godfather's approval. So that happened, and then they go into those parties, and then due to the internal party democracy, they don't even get a ticket to run for that position. So they can't even run or go into office in that position. That was what happened before now. But like I said earlier, a lot of effort is going on in the background to get the women together. Just like Alhaji Tanko said, we're getting the women together. There are trainings, there are advocacy visits. We are raising women leaders in the communities that we're encouraging them to run for offices in their communities. They're already popular, they already have a following, they already have a base. So to be easy for them to actually come and win and go for election and win. And
that's why I'm asking you to use the Young Democratic Party as a point of contact, as the saying goes, to describe, how women are beginning to fare in all of this. Apart from seeking to become deputy governor of Edo State, there are local elections, or is your party only based in Edo State?
No, it's not. We just came on board in 2016.
Yes.
We just came on board in 2016. We
have had local government elections.
We've had local government elections.
We've had local government elections in Lagos.
In Lagos, we couldn't meet up with the Lagos local government elections. We couldn't participate. We were still trying to get our house together then. But for Kano, for Enugu, for Osun State, we had candidates. Many of them not women, unfortunately, because women are still not yet ready in that level too. And because, not to criticize not to deviate from the subject matter, but local government elections as it is in Nigeria today is not what it should be. I mean, most times we already know the result before we even go to the elections. So it's not something that most women want to just go in there and spend their hard-earned money. Although we had a female candidate in Osun State, but the state chairman had to withdraw at the last minute from the elections. So we encourage women. We encourage women. We have trainings, we have visits, and we encourage women. We want women to take up positions, and we have a level playing ground. It's not because you're a woman that you get a ticket automatically. You'll be encouraged to participate, and then when you do participate, based on your antecedents, based on your reports, on your results, you will not be cheated out of any position. That's what we do in YDP, just because you're a woman. Everybody is the same in YDP.
Right. Thank you very much. Let's get Dr. Tanko's outlook on this. The apathy generally is being of something that has been thrown from time to time. But really, what do we know, or what can we say about the women's interest, like you have pointed out, issue of even political education, and even the readiness to actually take it on headlong? Should the group, as a women group now, be able to push one or several women out there? What more should be saying?
Okay, when I said that the women like to go to where the food is cooked, I made my statement based on fact. I'll give you a clinical example. I met the Apex Women Organization in Nigeria. In any group gathering that we have women program, fortunately I've been invited. So, and I said to them that, look, let us use your strength to join a political party. It doesn't mean the established political party. I may mention here that I told them that the National Conscience Party gives its platform free. We don't charge money for form. So that one will not stop you from saying that maybe you don't have the money. We don't charge you for money for interest fee. No money. Whatever you have, just use it to campaign. And then they told me that, don't worry, Tanko, we are going to come back to you. This is almost 5 years. They have not come back. So, but here you are, you will hear them talking about, we're looking for 35% affirmative action. When you have 50%, why are you looking for 35? What I mean by population, I mean the statistical level, you have the strength to decide. Let me also tell you this. Have you ever, you are a lady, maybe your daughter getting married, or maybe your son's getting married. Have you ever imagined your level of capacity in organizing? The women do the organization. They reach out, they invite, they do every nitty-gritty. They are very good in making sure that every details is being followed to the last extent. That can be translated into strength.
But
that can be translated into strength.
Organizing an Owambe party, I mean, I'm not trying to
yes.
Reduce this
yes.
Or diminish the significance of what you are saying.
Yes.
But organizing an Owambe party isn't the same, actually, as political organization.
Oh, yes. Let me give you an example. You know, in politics, you need to draw somebody near to you, get his attention. And the women have that particular capacity. If you remember, Olufumi Layo Ransom Kuti was the first female Nigeria to drive a car, right? And she was politically inclined. Gambo Sawaba in the north was strengthfully and forcefully establishing herself among male folk, and she made a whole lot of mark. Right. And I'll give you another example. In Saudi Arabia, it was so difficult for a woman to drive a car, but now they have pushed that beyond them. Invariably, what I'm trying to point out is that the women have that capacity to mingle among men, get their attention. If a woman wants to get your attention, it's just within the single of her hand. She'll get it. And when she does, she can use that into her political strength. Everybody, is it her feminine look or is it her capacity to be able to get somebody to vote for her? In fact, the interest will so run within the party member to look at her capacity and her organizational skill to know that she can transform into a good leader. Now, when you ask that particular questions about what led to the town strength as regards to the
2011, 2015,
yes, you will look at it in a certain way and say, probably those who won election, did they perform extremely well that make them feel that, okay, they have the capacity to increase in their numbers? That brings in the question. So once you are being given an opportunity as a female, it is expected that you will show extreme capacity that would override the interest of the man so that people will now have belief. How many women do we have now as presidents of the federal in the world? We have in Germany, we have in Australia, we have in Britain and all. And these ladies have shown so much enormous capacity in leadership that people want to use them as a model. The female want to use them as a model to contest for election. And that is the reason why I, on my party, is advocating for this sequence of election that will help to give room for political parties, especially the females, to win election. If you start from the lower elections, State Assembly, National Assembly, which is a vast number of political activities, that will galvanize people to come out and campaign. You will see a large number of females and males, young. Nowadays, for example, you are seeing how the younger ones are moving. They have formed themselves into demanding that they want to challenge the establishment, that it is time for the younger ones. So also the females too can make that particular advocacy, that it's time for females too to win election, even in local levels, and let them have that particular opportunity of winning elections.
Dr. Tanko, thanks a lot for your insight. Let me just throw this, any of the guests can take this up. Could it also be the case that perhaps women will have to revise the criteria for choosing anyone amongst themselves to support for elective offices? I'm just saying, for instance, must it be the old established women faces that we see all over, a woman leader here, the other woman leader, persons who have been on? Couldn't we have younger women, much fiercer, much more energetic? will come around and say, look, we're going to hit the ground running, we're going to get onto the hustings and canvass for votes?
Well, I think I would like to take that. If you look at the situation now, I'll tell you from the APC background and my experience in the field. What we used to have as the national women leader that we see is not what is sitting here, because the age has varied. The younger ones are jumping in. And even at local government levels now under APC, even in the northern, the core northern states like KB, and we do have local government persons already, females. We are grooming. Mentorship has been missing. I made it very clear. Perhaps those who went to these fields before, who were in these offices, didn't bother to look back. How many people have I picked? Contributory factor to some of these things, again, is the pull-her-down syndrome. What do I mean by the pull-her-down syndrome?
PhD.
The PhD, not the acquired in the institution, but personalized one. Why must she be the one?
I asked that question.
Why must it be this lady and she is much younger? I can be her mother, so I cannot go with her. Why must I follow her? Why is she wearing the heels and what? But we are educating, we are advocating, we are getting them to, leave that behind now. It's not about what she's wearing, where she's coming from, what her religion is, or whether you want to see her face or not. The question is, can she do it? Does she have that sagacity? Can you groom her? Because there are potential candidates you will see already, even from aspiration. Now we are beginning to form these caucuses across party. We will begin to talk. It's part of the, strategies we want to use now as national women leaders to see where we can pick who.
Across the country.
Across the country, irrespective of political party, but get them to believe in themselves that you must support.
So have you started discovering such ones?
We do. We have discovered. But again, Nigerian politics today, as you have seen, is capital base, intense capital base. For a man today, he might find it very easy to get a sponsor if he indicates interest. Don't look at the lady pretty face. If she comes to say, the next discussion is, can she make it? Will they be able to vote for her? These countries Malantanko mentioned earlier on, I think the men's disposition to some of these things have changed. They believe more in the women, leadership
So why has
capacity.
Nigeria failed to believe in the woman for?
I said it's a Ben issue. Tradition, religious beliefs, and so on and so forth.
What does the religion say about the woman coming out to do that?
Especially for the Muslims. And it's still the same, but for education now we are trying to, work around it. Women leadership, women legislature. We tend to go more with the legislative arm than the leadership. And men do not accept, except now, that a woman should lead and be there. And that is why, especially in the northern, part of the country, we found it difficult to get, women at the grassroots. Who is going to be the local government chairperson? A lady? And early in the morning, he finds himself coming to kneel down to say, I need this. You know what it means at the local level. They are the closest to the men. That ego comes in. The ego does not allow to bow to that woman to say, this is the problem. But again, we have tested waters, and women have done fantastically well, if we will use that language, in northern Nigeria.
All right, let's bring in Georgina Dapopo. What's your take on this, with regard to what Hajia Ramat has been talking about, galvanizing women and then breaking the age barrier, or getting new profiles of women to seek elective offices?
Presently, we have 68 political parties in Nigeria. I'd like to mention that 4 of those are being headed by women, are being chaired by women right now. So there's, like she said, there's a working together among the parties. Irrespective of your party affiliation, we are working together to ensure that women get out there in the forefront. And we've had women, even before now, from other political parties, sponsoring candidates in other political parties for offices. So by and large, women are getting their act together. We are becoming more formidable. We are growing. And they have a lot of young people. I think of the 4 political parties, 2 of them, I and another person are actually very young. We're not very young. We're younger than the average age of chairmen in Nigeria. So women and young people are actually stepping forward to take up positions. We're becoming more proactive, and we are taking the bull by the horn. And aside from that, culturally, like she mentioned in addressing that, culturally, I couldn't go into politics without first consulting and speaking and getting my husband's permission and approval. I'm sure it's the same for most women. So women face that a lot in their homes, and could be the reason why we have actually a minimal participation of women in politics. I remember there was a gathering I was in, an IPAC gathering, and we're trying to change some laws where they said we should have it in every party constitution that there should be at least one woman for every 2 men. But we couldn't get that passed because there was the issue of what happens if you're not able to get those women. That means you cannot actually function properly. Because we even though we go out, we're having advocacy visits, we are talking to women, they still need their husbands or their father's approval and permission to participate in politics. So what we're trying to do now is getting men champions, men that will speak to other men on our behalf, to make them understand the essence, the importance of getting women involved in governance and politics.
I'm wondering, thanks a lot. Dr. Eunice Atanko, let's bring you in again. Considering the role of politics, and indeed how politics is played in this country, politics ultimately is rent-seeking. And when you look at the returns from it, is this an arena where the male folk are more likely to yield space to the women? If this is all about, mostly all about seeking economic advantage, rather than just saying going there to deliver the public goods.
Georgina was looking for men champions. I am one here. I've been advocating for women for a very long time. All right. To be quite honest with you, they won't give the space. That's just the truth. And even in seeking for power, nobody gives you power. You have to take it. That is the fundamental fact. But there are strategic ways in which you could at least use moral suasion, in which when the men will now look at the... You see, in politics, people look for capacity. When they identify a lady who has that particular... I'm sure Georgina must have gone through this particular rudiment. For her to have emerged as the chairperson or chairman of her own party, you will have understand that people must have seen that she had that capacity for her to. There are very strong people in that particular party. But for her to have emerged, then she must have shown capacity to lead. So in that case, if that is available in every political party, people would like to associate themselves with such a lady. I'll give you an example. Aisha Osiri run for a political office here in Abuja, if I'm not mistaken. She's quite intelligent lady. But was she able to win election? That's another thing entirely. Where was the support for her? She had that particular capacity. But the support didn't really come from even the female folks. So when you identify each individual within your own political party that has that capacity, all you need to do is give that person that particular support, irrespective of whether she's a female or not. So people would like to associate themselves with people who have that particular capacity. So we need to identify those ladies who have that particular capacity. Yes, of course, funding comes in very strongly, and that is why a lot of us have been advocating for support-based technically for political party, at least to give room, so that the men folks who are seen to have that particular war chest will not be able to control or gag anybody. You know, when the money that is supposed to be used for politicking is not coming from the hands of one particular individual who decides the fate of all, it becomes easier for the female folks, at least who have that capacity, to emerge. Then that particular funding that he thinks is his power and strength will not be there anymore to control the structures of the party. These are facts. And then we need to also advocate that women need to be well trained as regard to the rudiment of governance. The processes and how you manage people is very, very important. Sometimes women are seen to be more domineering when they are in position of power, which of course most men will not want to really like to take. And so therefore, before they even get to that position of power, they must have make sure that they don't even emerge, because they must have actually identified you how domineering that particular person is. You need to be fluid. You need to carry people along. People need to find comfort in you. And when they do, they know that, yes, even if you are in position of power, you will not discriminate against them. You will not show them this particular unprecedented power that women show sometimes.
Dr. Tanko,
Dr.
Dr.
Tanko,
you have provoked. Just hold on a second.
You know why? Please, you know why?
All right.
You know why?
Conclude so that we can have their reactions.
I've had interview with females.
Yes.
Females to female. She would tell you that her boss is too dominant. She prefers a male leader.
That's right.
These are facts.
That's right.
So I'm giving you an expo without paying me any kobo.
Let's get a reaction.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to react quickly to what Dr. Tanko said, that women are kind of more domineering. I don't want to look at it that way. Perhaps the Nigerian men look at it like the lady is just whatever she says. Depends on your perception. He begins to understand it like she wants to control me.
At least you want to be firm.
Yes, you want to be firm, and you're not being looked upon, but down upon. But quickly, I would like to raise the issue of societal awareness.
No, sorry.
Sorry.
Before you
go
into societal awareness, the point that Dr. Tanko has raised is a psychological barrier to men yielding the political space. As you know, you've
I'll
all
put
been
it to you
conversing.
that it has to do with
No, it doesn't. No, it's not.
the psyche of the man.
First and foremost, a lot of times women do that to try and build a fence around themselves, kind of. Because if you seem to be too fluid, they say, oh, she's easygoing, she's easy, we can get anything we want from her, and then people take that for granted. That's when, and they were getting support from women. I like to refer to there's a certain group on Facebook called a Theme. Female in Nigeria. It has millions of followers. I remember a post recently, which I actually I commented on, and she talked about how her lecturer in school, when she had heard about how female lecturers were very harsh and wicked and all that, but that she prayed and wanted a good lecturer, and she got a female lecturer, and she said as her project supervisor, and she said she had a wonderful time, and it changed that concept, that perception of women. And I commented and said, the truth is that women had to do that because as female, we want the best out of anything we are doing. We always set our standards a bit higher than usual. And then more so, we need to, that lie that women pull down each other, it's a lie that has been set there for generations. We need to break down that myth.
But I'm saying,
support women irrespective. If you think she's too harsh, approach her. She's a human being.
That's fine. That's fine. But the gravamen of Dr. Tanko's position is this: women tend to be domineering, and Takopa was saying a moment ago. Yes, maybe they do that, to show that they are not soft. To show that look, you can't.
They cannot be over.
Not a pushover.
You cannot be a pushover. You can't. So and try not to be a pushover. They go overboard and become dictators. How can women overcome that? Because Dr. Tanko was talking about lessons in governance, lessons in leadership, for you to realize that you don't have to be a dragon to be feared.
Well, that comes with the capacity building, with the trainings, the organizations like NDI that like the Women Democratic Network are giving to women now. Even those in position are undergoing some of these trainings, acquiring the skills, media, addressing people. You don't have to actually be the dragon out there before you are respected. But again, I will refuse to be cowed here to accept that.
Nobody's cowing you.
It's not all the time that women, no. Some women don't do that. It's not all the women, but the general perception. So when a man also, there is this, that's why I'm saying the attitude. A man already, she's a lady coming, and she wants to come and lord over me. So before she says something, he's already hardened, and then she tends to react quickly.
So what kind of political education will you be getting? Because if there are already catalogs of all these traits that the men are thinking by the time they give space for you to come into that political space. Now, how are you going about cataloging some of those traits or some of these complaints or concerns that the men have raised, generally?
Coaching the ladies to be calm, to be more understanding, networking with the men there. Men could be the best, bosses we could have, or the supporters at the work field. And that is clear. But then the women must also accept that when you are working with these men, and you just look at them like
I'm
opponents.
wondering,
You begin to see it difficult.
Hajia, earlier on in this conversation, you described what normally plays out. Some women would raise the point, why must it be her?
Absolutely.
Why is she wearing this kind of shoe? She's too young. But
The pull-out-down syndrome.
Yeah, pull-out-down. You are saying that the pull-out-down syndrome is a myth. Is that is it necessarily a myth?
Naturally, yes, it is. That was probably the case.
No, but they say
years before now.
Sorry, it's also been said. I mean,
real.
to take this along, that women don't like each other.
That's changing.
It's changing.
Like I
but
said,
it's
that
real.
group has about, I think, about 5 million followers, and it's a support group for women.
And
If
I'm
that
trying
was
to
the
put
case,
it even that. That was where I talked about the awareness about women capacity. Because I will still, as much as I am giving, I will not take the complete blame for the women here. Nigerian men also have to rise up to this occasion. I am the president of the Council of African Political Parties. It's an organization with about, 46 African countries already present in participation. It was a general election, two representatives from each country.
Okay.
I'm sure if that election were in Nigeria, as the case may be, it might be difficult for a woman to take that. This is where we had the Frenchmen, the Arabian men that we will consider as very, chauvinist, but they were considerate. They took capacity for capacity. What we had to do and the way we were able to present ourselves, we had debates, we had quizzes, we had, presentations on how to move Africa forward. They were more goal-orientated. They were more, exact at what they wanted, the target. But here within Nigeria would have been, you mean president of the whole, even when I came back within the country, the whole African political parties, and a woman.
The one representing
so
us.
the awareness must come so that the younger generation, the men, look at women more dispassionately.
Dr. Tanko, we have reactions already from our viewer. We'll like to run through them, then we'll set more questions around our conversation. From Festus Akimboye, where is this tweet? There should be gender quota by law that will promote women's serious participation in serious politics. The women in the current National Assembly should sponsor such bills.
Law Afasi has this tweet. Nigerian men in the political class still want to hold sway in every political sphere and can pay the bills more easily than women.
Abdul Musa says there shouldn't be any concessions for women in politics. Let them struggle for positions like men because they have proved to be more sophisticated in doing things even better than the men. Examples of some past female ministers' activities come to mind. The challenges facing women are also the same with some men that are not rich or connected to the power brokers. So we should remove gender issues in politics. Let it be for everybody.
Shakiru Raufu tweets, for a woman to get into political office through election in Nigeria can be hard because of religion and culture. Women would hardly be voted for.
Habila Kora actually agrees with Dr. Tanko, who said he has said it all about the obstacle to women participation in politics. The women themselves do not believe in their fellow women. For women to get recognition, they must first of all believe in themselves.
All right, those are the set of tweets that we have. In the meantime, let's bring in Dr. Tanko again. Dr. Tanko, well, when we're talking about getting more women involved in politics and therefore being in a position to seek and get elective positions, into elective offices, is this an event or is it going to be a process? And if it's a process, will legislation help? With changes in cultural attitude, obviously we've discussed that, but what more do we need to do? Is there something probably in the human gene that we may be battling with? I mean, somebody says this is chauvinistic, but even in matrilineal societies, is there anywhere in the world, for instance, where you have virtual domination of women in appointive or elective offices? Or you have a percentage still far lower than the percentage of men?
Well, with regard to having enabling laws to give a kind of a teaching solution to having women more involved in politics, you see, even in legislating, it will be difficult for you to pass a law in the National Assembly that is dominated by men that will give an advantage to the women. These are facts, okay? Even though on a kind of humorous level, you find it so interesting to see even in a boxing match, the person that draws more attention after the bout has been taken, it is the female who dressed up in very provocative and attractive positions. Some even go to watch a boxing match because of the figures of the women. So that's to tell you the power of the lady is so enormous. So what I'm saying in essence is that the ladies need to come out in large numbers. Use every God-given power that God has given to them to join the political parties. Like she has just mentioned this Facebook group, they call it FIN. I want to see them translating into movements that will join political parties nationwide. And then their goal and target will be, let's see how we can emasculate power from these men. Let's show those who have that particular capacity to lead this country in every aspect. Is it from the local government and up to even presidential level? So that must be translated into, action. Don't just sit down and be making this particular postulation on the Facebook. No. It must be translated into action. And the action can be only when you join political parties and you canvass for vote, show among the men that you have that particular capacity. We, for example, in the NCP, want to win election. If I have like 20 to 30 contestants who have that particular capacity, who are female, and they are going to vote for, what am I waiting for? They can come and get my ticket.
What could be the hindrance in effective mobilization of women?
The interest must be there, number one. You must have that particular interest. Nobody will come to your bedroom and drag you and come and join political parties. You must have that interest. When you have that interest, you come into the political parties, and then people will be seeing what you have as a capacity. I have females, ladies in my political party who have shown enormous strength in the party. I have them. So people tend to go trust them. And as no, a lot of political party members, just like Hajia has mentioned, even within her party, they've been able to now, exhume some new ladies who have that particular capacity. So all you need to do is that as a matter of show of strength and show of intent, give that support to that particular lady.
How would you balance this? How would you balance this with the demands of also helping to manage the family, to run the family? That's Dapapo. Let's take your views on that.
Well, it's about having a support system, because just like any other career, politics is demanding. And more so in politics, there's a lot of traveling, a lot of consultations, a lot of advocacy visits. So you need to have a good support system. Maybe have an older aunt or your mom, if it's possible, staying to take, because you have to take care of the home, because the home is actually the smallest unit of the community. So if your home breaks down, personally, I think that you have failed in any career you've chosen. So you have to, first of all, make sure that your home is taken care of. Get a good support system. Get someone that you trust and that can help take care of the home and give you enough time. Whether it's in politics or any other field of career, you need to have, first of all, take care of the home, and then you can now go out there and make the best of it.
All right, thank you very much. Hajia, what more would you like to see? Another election is around the corner.
Well, women are encouraged to be card-carrying members of political parties. What is normally missing is that the grassroots, you don't get women. They are numbers, just like my uncle said here. We are not translating the numerical strength into inter-party activities. So generally, you have more of these numbers voting. What about being card-carrying members of the political party? If you go normally by the constitution, power is not served a la carte. They don't give these tickets. In a party that is well established, you go into the primaries. And then the delegates vote. So the power of, electing the candidate is reliant on the vote. So how do you get the votes? Generally, you get the members there, the delegates there, majority women, having just one, men, having just one or two women there. So how do you get them to vote? As much as it's not all about not supporting themselves. They are not strategically placed.
All right,
where they will do the right thing.
Hajia Ramatu Tijani, national women leader of the APC. Thank you very much for your thoughts. We have, of course, having to draw the curtain now on this conversation. One of the last points you just raised has to do with, it's fine, you have more women coming out to vote in the course of a general election. Why don't you have such women also participate in the internal politics of parties? Thanks a lot for your thoughts on Good Morning Nigeria today.
Thank you.
We also would like to appreciate Georgina Dapopo, who is the chairperson of the Young Democratic Party. Thanks a lot for being around with us.
Thanks for having me.
Always a delight, too, having the chairman of the NCP, National Conscience Party, and former chairman of IPAC, Dr. Yunus Atanko. Dr. Atanko, thanks a lot. We hope you have more women getting to your food.
Thank you very much. The door is open.
All right. Okay, so that does it for our discussion on the challenges of women in Nigerian politics. We'll take a short break now.
And flu can spread through the contact of hands. And in such situations, I can't risk falling ill. So I recommend Dettol, as it protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why I want to be Dettol sure. Dettol, be 100%.
Chief. Good morning, sir. You're here already?
No, now my spirit day, my body day for house. What kind of question is that? Were you not the one that fixed this meeting for 8 a.m.? You are now coming by 10 a.m. and start asking me jam questions.
But Chief, now, I'm sorry. Don't you also go late for meetings sometimes? You know now, African time.
No more African time. And no more pancaking of face during office hours. At the end of the day, we will lose valuable time. We will not make progress. If we want to move this nation forward, we must treat business as business and respect time. Change begins with me.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Can we go for the meeting now, Chief?
Better.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. You are watching.
If you just tuned in, the program is Good Morning Nigeria. We're just done with the first part of our conversation because we have another discussion coming on right now. Right now at the headquarters here in Abuja, that's the NTA premises, is a huge truck. Now, it's a mobile cancer center with state-of-the-art facilities for screening, follow-up, as well as the treatment of pre and early cancer. The truck costs about $600,000 to put together, and this was through the generosity of Nigerian donors. The truck is facilitating what has been tagged the big war against cancer. And now it is stationed at the NTA for a short while as a mobile mission to facilitate the fight. Now, joining us to discuss this mission, you find out in a matter of moments. It's a guest already seated, Dr. Abia Nzelu. She's the Executive Secretary, Committee Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy. Dr. Abia Nzelu, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Nzelu, thanks a lot. I mean, my colleague already talked about the mobile truck, but give us some more insight into what the truck is all about, what capacity it can handle, and for how long, and where people are likely to find a truck after it leaves the NTA premises.
Yeah, the Mobile Cancer Center is also known as Pink Cruise.
Okay.
Now, it is, it has state-of-the-art facilities for a number of things. It has about 10 functions. Now, in that Mobile Cancer Center, you have a mammogram, a full-feed digital mammogram for breast cancer screening, which is, of course, is the most common cancer in women. And then inside that mammogram, you have the theater where you can take care of cases. For instance, a woman is screened for cervical cancer, and then she has cervical abnormalities. She can come in there and have colposcopy. There's a colposcope there. After she has that colposcopy, she can have biopsy, and then you have the facility to treat the pre-cancer stage of cervical cancer, which is cryotherapy. So inside the mobile, you have the cryotherapy that we use to treat the woman, and that will prevent her from going on to have cervical cancer. Okay. And now you have, right there in the mobile unit, you have a sonogram, which is has a very high resolution that you can use for screening for breast cancer too. You can screen for breast cancer and several other cancers of the internal organs.
How is the Pink Rose truck deployed? You know, where can people find it? As I said, it's right here with us now.
Today.
In fact, yes, right here with us, the Abuja headquarters studios of NTA. After here, where can you find it?
Now, after here, it's going to Cool FM. It's going to be here tomorrow too, and we expect that general public to come and take advantage of it. It's going to Cool FM, and then from there it's going to Ministry of Finance. The Pink Cruise, the plan is to have one in each state and Abuja. Okay. Right now we have 4 of them. Okay. So the 4 of them will be deployed in the 4 old regions. So using the old regions to deploy those 4. And so one in Abuja, the north, one in Lagos representing west, one in Port Harcourt representing the old east, and then one in Asaba representing the midwest. So that's how it's deployed. And we have a roster that has been made for the whole year, which will be released shortly. And so you have every day, you have a place where the mobile units will be. And this is the pilot phase of the campaign. And so shortly we'll have the roster rolled out.
So who is eligible to come around now?
Please, let's just pause your question. You say the one for the one in Lagos will serve the old western region. Yes. I hope those in Ibadan will not protest, because Lagos wasn't always part of the western region.
It was Ibadan.
Anyway, the plan is to have in every state. So once we are able to get more funds, it's going to go around the state. And after the pilot phase, because you need to have a pilot phase before you scale up.
Okay, but beyond the places where you have decided to go and position them now, maybe proximity to where you can get more numbers. Now, who is eligible to come and how affordable? Because I'm sure somebody will be wondering at what stage of whatever it is I felt or the person has felt in terms of cancer detection of stuff like that. Who can come and how affordable would this be for people?
The good thing about this Pink Cruise is that even though cancer is the core of the campaign, we are looking at not just cancer, but also diseases that are related to cancer. Okay. So the mobile unit is for everybody, both men, women, people of all ages. So there's no limit to the people that can come. It's just that you will not have to, when you come, the investigation that is relevant to your age or to your sex, or to, so you will take advantage of that. So, but you have several things. So children can come, women can come, men can come. But for instance, for mammogram, you have the cutoff. For this community-based outreach, the cutoff is from 50. Every woman above 50 will have routine mammogram. Okay.
So if you're not up to 50,
the community-based screening is free. You don't pay for it. Now, for those that are less than 50, you go through the clinical examination and all that. If you need to have mammogram, then you will not have it. Yeah. If you need to have sonogram, you will not have it. Yeah.
What's your medical capacity manning the Pink Rose truck? How many doctors, how many nurses, how many medical assistants?
You have enough people to man it. And so if you have 1,000 people, they can be taken care of. And so that's why we have this roster released that will be released for the whole year, so that people will know when in advance when the mobile unit is going to come to them. And then people are going to be asked to pre-register to get ready, so that based on the people in that particular location, you will deploy the exact number of people that will take care of them. So we have enough people to take care of as many people as that are ready to come. And so we hope that with the media creating awareness, a lot of people will take advantage of this, because the aim is to take holistic wellness to the grassroots.
What will be your hours of operation?
Now, the operation, for instance, we were here at 7 a.m. So we are here until we finish with the last person. So generally, between 7 and 6, we are here. But if we have people that are still there at that time, you finish with them.
So okay, like maybe 12 hours or more.
Or more in a day. That's quite significant. But the other point to ask is, this truck, how old is it? And what are the likely maintenance issues? Again, what capacity do you have for maintenance?
Now, the trucks, they are made in such a way that they can have a lifespan of up to 20 years. So we have the manufacturers have representatives here in the country that support with the maintenance of these trucks.
Well, I'm sure you're familiar with this. We have very expensive medical equipment in our hospitals. They run for a while, and then one little pin or the other, I mean, to illustrate,
Even energy to power some of your equipment.
breaks down, and it becomes a challenge to fix. But of course, we'd like to appreciate you, Dr. Abia Nzelu, Executive Secretary, Committee on Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy. You have seen the shots there on our screen, the clips from that mobile cancer center. It's called the Pink Rose. So wherever you see it rolling around town, if you are here in the Federal Capital Territory or elsewhere where the trucks will be deployed, you indicated Lagos. Lagos, not representing the Old Western region, but Lagos. Let's say the Southwest Zone. You have Asaba.
So where's the Southwest?
Asaba. And then, of course, Port Harcourt are right here in the Federal Capital Territory. Thanks a lot for being on our program this morning.
For 2 days, it will be in the NTA. Like
NTA, that's right, Blessing. It will be available here at the NTA Abuja headquarters today, Friday, the 2nd of March, as well as the 3rd of March, which is Saturday. Thereafter, the truck rolls. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so that does it now for our second topic on Good Morning Nigeria. Let's go over very quickly to our sports desk.
The Roller Sports Federation of Nigeria, RSFN, says it will target to be the first African country to represent the continent at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The Federation's Chairman Technical Committee, Kings Kedron, who gave this on Thursday in Lagos, said that the skaters will be ready for the Olympics challenge. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, had in August last year added skateboard, baseball, karate, sports climbing and surfing to the sports program for the Olympic Games in Japan, tagged Tokyo 2020. On the readiness of the RSFN for the African Challenge in the qualifiers to the Summer Olympics, Kedron said that the Federation will do all within its power to be among the first African representatives.
But for Arsenal, an early
Manchester City strengthened their chances of clinching the English Premier League title by defeating Arsenal 3-0 in Thursday's rescheduled game at the Emirates.
Bernardo Silva won them the Carabao Cup.
3 first-half goals from Bernardo Silva, David Silva and Leroy Sané extended Manchester City's lead at the top to 16 points, and the defeat was the 9th of the season for Arsene Wenger's team in the EPL. With 10 games remaining, the Pep Guardiola side need 5 veterans to clinch the English Premier League title. Meanwhile, Swiss star Stanislas Wawrinka withdrew from this month's ATP Masters event in Indian Wells and Miami on Thursday, saying he needs more time to recuperate as he works his way back from knee surgery. Wawrinka said on Thursday he hoped skipping the hard-court tournaments of Indian Wells and Miami will enable him to return refreshed for the clay court season.
Now let's join our entertainment desk for more.
I'm just getting started. Let's have some fun.
Do you all remember the Black Panther movie by Marvel Studio? Particularly the part where it was rumored to feature Nollywood's comic Funke Akindele and later Genevieve Naji? Well, yeah, this is the part where the movie debuted without Funke and Genevieve. But it's the first Marvel Studio production directed by an African American. The movie has raked in an estimated $201.8 million from its 3-day launch in North America and $360 million from around the world. The amazing part is, the movie broke multiple box office records, which has eluded other African-American movies, and is the largest opening for Ryan Coogler, the African-American director.
I want your weapons, your secrets. It's all mine now.
All right, so that's us at entertainment. Let's go over to the weather center to check out the weather prospects for the rest of the day.
Welcome to the weather forecast. Maximum temperatures have peaked over the extreme north, reaching as high as 40 degrees Celsius in a few places. It's equally dry, and this should favor sunny and hazy conditions over the extreme northern part of the country. Though slight reduction in horizontal visibility is probable over parts of Borno, Yobe, Gombe, Adamawa, and Katsina State. Moving to the central states, partly cloudy conditions should prevail. There's a slim chance of some thunderstorm activities over the southeast. Pockets of thunderstorm activities are likely in the afternoon over the coast, the inland areas, and the southern parts of Kogi State. Here's the temperature forecast.
That's Good Morning Nigeria for today and for the week. We'll see you again on Monday, God willing. Thank you for watching. My name is Blessing Abu. Do have yourself a great day ahead.
And I'm Kingsley Osadolo, thanking you also for tuning in to Good Morning Nigeria. Of course, wherever the day takes you, remember it begins with us. When we say Good Morning Nigeria, do enjoy your weekend. And before then, of course, have a lovely day.